Show number 20.
And our topic is Zillow is your friend. First of all, let me apologize. We advertised that today's show is featuring why and when you need to get an attorney involved in your real estate transaction. We're happy to say that attorney Kim Roberti will be our guest, I think next week. He's going to check his schedule. But we're going to have a real live attorney here for that show. We're just going to bump that. So today we're talking about Zillow. How it's good for buyers, how it's good for sellers, what you can see on it, and some cautions. And we're not live.
It's not doing landscape.
Oh my, oh my. Our 20th show.
We're still having technical difficulties.
Are we still? There we are. No. Oh my.
Yeah, it won't go landscape.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, we are falling apart. So, why don't you start?
It's been a busy
week. We were going to introduce ourselves.
Do
you want to start? Oh, Courtney's not here. Courtney is at the shore. Courtney!
Hi, Courtney. I'm Christina, Associate Broker, Kowski Realty. Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
And super tech savvy. This woman, super tech savvy. To my left, I'm happy to introduce Miss Diane. She is our newest agent and a superstar also with organization. Then in the orange, looking very dapper, is a Sean.
Hello.
And he's cool. When we're all losing it,
Yeah.
you don't lose it.
It's
Sean,
the office of
it's just
women
kind of cool.
grounded.
Like a grounding wire. And I'm Aggie the broker.
He's got jokes.
He's
And on
good.
camera,
I
Ashley.
try.
And emojis.
Yeah.
You're up, Christina.
Okay, so basic details that we see on Zillow. Of course, we have all the basic information details, address, pretty much a lot of stuff you would see on the MLS. You know, what kind of heat, does it have a garage, how many bedrooms. I mean, it's pretty detailed. And these will be in little tabs. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Zillow if you're not. Zillow.com. And so it has some value information under that tab. You can break it down into a 1, a 5, and a 10-year valuation history. It also has.
Wait, what do you mean?
So underneath the Zillow tab where it says
It tells you what it was worth
value,
5 years ago, or what
you
you
can
expect it to be worth in 5. Oh, look at that.
it compares actually your address to
Future and
the
past.
zip code and the township.
Good.
And yeah, it goes future and past. So 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, you can kind of look at the
So you
different.
can find out if you're the nicest house in the neighborhood or not.
Or the middle.
Or the middle.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of different options that you can definitely play with. Everybody's favorite, I think, my favorite tab is probably the price history one because you can see pretty much its history. I know I have tons of clients that are like, oh, I saw on Zillow this house has been listed for 30 years, and I'm like, wow. So history definitely, even if it's been listed and removed, that's on there.
You can also see the price changes in that view as well.
Definitely, yeah, you can see it going up and down. And the next favorite I think is mortgage calculator. So everybody wants to know what they can pay.
There's even an app called Zillow Mortgage Calculator for you buyers out there who are checking things out.
If you have the app on your phone, though, I think you can just go
do?
right. Yeah, but I mean, as a buyer, as a client, you can. If you have the app on your phone, there's an
You
easy way.
don't need the separate app.
You don't need the separate one; it's within that app.
Scratch what I said.
But if you just want to have a calculator on your phone, you could do that too.
Take back what I said.
No, it's an ad. It's an ad. Yeah. So mortgage calculator definitely the second. I would say the second important part. Price this home is your next tab. I think it's just my understanding of it is just pulling what other homes are listed for. Price this home. Homes like this sold for. This tab is just
it's useless.
really.
Skip that one.
It's a really weird tab. Yeah, it's just like I think it's just they needed more information and they just put it on there. Competition for this home is another thing you want to see as which you'll get into.
That's for houses that are for sale.
Yeah, the competition is going to show you how many times that listing has been viewed and or saved. Sometimes it'll have the saved in there too if they are saved. But you'll get into that later when the why it's good for the sellers, I believe. The next one, the home expenses, that's just a little tab. It's just kind of giving you ideas on who to get for internet. phone service. They have some, I guess, paid advertisements on there for insurance and stuff like that.
We should pay to be their realtor. Oh, we do.
But I would say the next two parts are probably your third and fourth most important. People want to know about the neighborhood. That's very important. Walk score. What's the walk score? What's around? And then your schools. Definitely schools are super important. That's pretty much that in a nutshell.
Nutshell. That was a big nut. That was very informative. Good job. Speaking of nuts, who's next?
Well, you mentioned something about sellers. So,
Oh, yeah.
one feature that's good for sellers is you get to go onto Zillow and see if you wanted to see what your home might be in the ballpark of being worth. You could actually go and see if it's accurate. When I went on and looked at mine, it was completely inaccurate. So I was able to change the bedrooms, the size, the square footage, how many floors, and all of that stuff. And it kind of adjusted the Zestimate that gave me a ballpark of what it could potentially be worth. I know it's not 100% accurate, but I think Aggie can speak more to that.
Oh, I will.
And some great features for buyers is if you're looking at a particular area and you come across numerous homes, there's a little heart icon that you can save the properties that you're interested in, that you want to keep an eye on, or possibly even email or text to your realtor or a family member if you're helping a family member or a friend look for homes in a certain area. You can set up auto notification for all those homes that are in your saved search. And once you log into an area, under the map feature, you can zoom in and see all the pricing of the houses that have sold, or estimates if they have not sold, where they have history in Zillow, will be marked on all the properties surrounding the houses that you're looking at. So a lot of really good useful information there to keep track on. And if you set your profile up, you can get text messages, emails, and you'll get notified and change the status if a property sells, or if there's a increase or a reduction in price in a property that you've had your eye on.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good for your first time.
Oh, and that shares a lot. When you share a listing with somebody, you can
Yeah.
share like all
Yeah,
different
it's just
ways.
if you're on,
It's awesome.
in any application, you get the little share icon. You can share via
I love it.
text message, email, LinkedIn, all kinds of.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
I know, it's awesome.
exactly.
I think that's fantastic.
So I just want to talk for a minute on the cautions when buyers or sellers are using Zillow. First for the buyer, and for this, for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Zestimates. When Zillow started, their values were really skewed. Many were way off. Over time, they've collected more data, and they are closer than they used to be. I will say that. One of the things also is if a seller lists their property with a realtor, you'll see the Zestimate line up, make a move to line up with close to what the realtor lists it at. I think they've come to realize that the realtors are the experts, and they don't have all of the information. So when you see a Zestimate value, it may be in the ballpark, as Sean said, but it may be way off, especially like here in Carbon County or in any county. If there's a neighborhood of high value and a neighborhood next to low value, for either one, it may pull comps that are close that have nothing to do with it and are very skewed. So whenever you're looking for a real value, we say, again, either an agent that can do a good comparable market analysis or an appraiser are really the only two ways for you to really know what your current market value is. And remember, market value changes with every house that is sold that is similar to yours in your area. So, caution on the Zestimates. Christina points out that for those estimates, they say they pull comparable sales, local tax assessment, and market appreciation. And if they're pulling the information from our county, this county hasn't done a tax assessment since 1991 or 1999. So if they're looking at that, that has nothing to do actually with current values. So the other caution is for sellers. I think 87% is what the stats are now of sellers list their home with agents. No, 92% list, and 87% of buyers, I think, are using agents to do the deal. So realtors and real estate agents are doing almost all of, they're involved in almost all of the sales that are going on. But there still are sellers who want to sell it on their own. And sometimes they'll list it on Zillow. My caution to sellers who want to put it for sale on their own on Zillow is, oh, that was the other thing. When a buyer or seller goes on to Zillow, let's say a buyer goes on and they want information about a property, there's going to be probably 4 photos of agents that show up. The very top one's going to say listing agent. The other 3 are agents who are going to be paid to advertise in that particular zip code. We often get calls from buyers who think that because we were there, we were a listing agent. The good news is you have the option to get a buyer's agent working for your best interest. You don't have to, that's another program. I call it myself.
So much information.
But when sellers list there, most of the buyers contacting them will have agents already. So then sellers end up negotiating to pay a buyer's commission and maybe a little more because they're not represented. And then by the time you figure out that 75% of the commission that they normally would have paid, they're paying anyway for someone to negotiate against them, and they're unarmed in the deal, it's tricky. So yeah, tangent there. Let me reel this back in. The point being, get an agent, get a good agent, get a Castlegate agent. But Zillow is a force to be reckoned with. They have grown, they have the data. That's where the buyers are. Lots of good information, whether you're a buyer, a seller, or an agent.
Good starting point.
And we did not get paid to do this show.
Sure.
All right, anything else? It's hot out. Courtney's at the shore getting a tan. And I guess that's it. Oh, we did. That's enough. Bye.
Bye-bye.